Hello, my brilliant students. It's Rachel, your exam KP economics teacher. Today we're tackling a huge one, the Keynesian model. Now, this isn't just some dusty theory from a textbook, okay? This is the revolutionary idea that completely flipped the script on how governments handle economic disasters. All right, let's dive right in. Have you ever wondered why during a recession, the government suddenly starts talking about job programs or sending out stimulus funds? Well, this is why. The whole Keynesian model is built on this idea that sometimes an economy just gets stuck. It's like a car stuck in the mud and it needs a big push from the government to get going again. It's a really powerful concept, and honestly, we see it in action all the time. So here's our game plan for today. We're going to start with the what, then we'll get into the why, and finally the how. And every single step is designed to build up your understanding so you can walk into that exam hall and confidently crush any question WAEC, NECO, or JAM throws at you. So let's get started. All right, first things first. What is this theory really all about? At its heart, Keynesian economics boils down to one single central idea. By the end of this little section, you'll see exactly why economists say that for Keynes, total spending is king. This right here is the term you absolutely need to know, aggregate demand, or AD for short. Think of it as the grand total of all the spending happening in the economy. Now, before Keynes came along, most economists were focused on the supply side of things. But Keynes, he argued that, hey, if people and government aren't spending money, businesses have no reason to produce things, and the whole economy just shrinks. So, the most important point is this: AD drives everything. To really get why Keynes' ideas were so groundbreaking, we have to take a step back and look at what everyone believed before him. You see, the Great Depression wasn't just a small downturn. It was a massive global crisis that basically broke all the old rules of economics and forced everyone to look for a new way of thinking. And this is the man himself, John Maynard Keynes. So while the entire world was stuck in the Great Depression with unbelievable unemployment, the classical economic theory was basically saying, hey, don't worry about it. The invisible hand of the market will sort it all out. But Keynes looked at years and years of suffering and said, no, it won't. He argued that economies can get stuck in a really bad place and they need some actual help to get out. Okay, now this slide, this is where we see the big showdown. The classical economists, they believed that if there was unemployment, wages would just naturally fall until it was cheap enough for companies to hire everyone back. But Keynes pointed out that in the real world, wages are sticky. They don't just fall that easily. Think about it. People resist pay cuts. Because of that, because wages are sticky, the economy can't just fix itself. And that's the big reason why the government needs to step in. You absolutely have to remember that term, sticky wages. It's a jam favorite, trust me. What's so great about Keynes is that he didn't just point out a problem, he actually offered a solution. He gave governments a practical set of tools to fight recessions. And this whole toolkit has a name, fiscal policy. It's all about using the government's budget, its spending, and taxing powers to manage the economy. So there are two main tools in this toolkit. First, the government can increase its spending, on things like roads, schools, hospitals. This creates jobs directly. Second, it can decrease taxes, which leaves more money in all of our pockets, encouraging us to go out and spend. It's a pretty straightforward two-step plan to get things moving again during a downturn. All right, theory is great, but now it's time to get those marks. This is where the rubber meets the road. This is where you prove to the examiners that you are a master of Keynesian economics. So let's jump in and tackle some real past questions from WAEC, JAM, and NECO that test these exact concepts. Okay, first up, let's look at this WAEC question from 2018. It's about a fundamental concept, opportunity cost. Now take a moment, read the options. What do you think is the best definition here? Let's break this down together. At its core, economics is all about making choices because we can't have everything, right? That's scarcity. So opportunity cost isn't about the money you spend, which rules out A. It's about what you give up. And the most precise definition, the one you'll find in every textbook, is the value of the next best alternative that you had to forego. That makes C the perfect answer. All right, next we have a JAM question from 2019. This one is perfect because Keynes is pretty much the father of modern macroeconomics. So the question asks, what would a macroeconomist focus on? What's the big picture stuff? So the key here is to remember the difference between microeconomics, which is small scale. It's about individual households, single firms, specific markets. Macroeconomics is the big picture, the entire nation, GDP, inflation, unemployment. Options A, B, and D are all micro, but option C, it talks about fiscal policy, national inflation, and GDP growth. Those are all classic macroeconomic topics, so C is definitely our answer. Okay, let's look at a calculation-based question, this time from NECO in 2018. This is a great one because it applies that idea of opportunity cost we just talked about to a real-world scenario with numbers. Let's see how you do. All right, let's walk through this step by step. First, how much money did the student spend? Well, 2 textbooks at 1,000 naira each means 2,000 naira was spent. Now, what was given up? The question asked for the opportunity cost in terms of movie tickets. So with that 2,000 naira, how many movie tickets could the student have bought? We just divide 2,000 naira by the price of a ticket, which is 500 naira, and that gives us 4. So the opportunity cost of buying 2 textbooks is 4 movie tickets. See? Not so bad. Phew! We have covered a ton of ground. Now let's boil it all down into a final checklist. I seriously suggest you take a screenshot of these next couple of slides. They are pure gold for your last-minute revision. Okay, for your JAM objective questions, speed is everything. So use these word associations. If you see government intervention or stimulus, your brain should immediately scream Keynesian. If you see self-correcting or invisible hand, that's classical. And remember, Keynes was all about fixing problems now in the short run. The classical view was more about how things work out in the long run. Now, for your WAEC and NECO essays, you've got to show a deeper level of understanding. A great tip is always to start by giving the historical context, the Great Depression. That's why this theory even exists. Make sure you can clearly explain sticky wages to show why government help is needed. And for top marks, show the examiner you know the difference between fiscal policy, which is the Keynesian toolkit of spending and taxes, and monetary policy, which is all about interest rates. And that's a wrap on our explainer of the Keynesian model. But here's the crucial point. This isn't just about passing an exam. You are now equipped with the theories that finance ministers and presidents actually use to shape our modern world. I want you to take that confidence and that powerful knowledge into your exam hall and absolutely ace it. You've got this. If you found this helpful, please do me a favor and like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more lessons just like this one. And don't forget, for thousands of practice questions to get you completely exam ready, head over to www.examkp.com. Keep practicing, and I will see you in the next class.